Hello chess friends and welcome to Zarov's chess channel and welcome to the Computer Chess Championship Season 15. So before this real Season 15 starts with this normal games, some other Blitz and Bullet tournaments are played between the top engines, and now this Blitz Madness tournament is going on in this non-castling chess. This non-castling chess is a chess variant in which you cannot castle, you're not allowed to castle. In my previous analyzed game of this chess variant, I've a little bit criticized this idea because I really don't like when I cannot secure my king. But I decided to give this chess variant another shot. I thought about it more, and we all know how Stockfish attacks the king even after castling. But I really wanted to see more Stockfish games when the kings are stuck in the center. Then of course more tactics are possible, more beautiful elements of the chess games are possible, more attacking possibilities for both sides. So I thought about it more and more, as I said, and I came to the conclusion that Stockfish is probably brutalizing everyone else, and I wasn't wrong. Stockfish is playing really great chess in this chess variant. It really attacks immediately the king, and here in the game, it was a game played by Wasp with the white pieces against Stockfish. Wasp tried to secure the king immediately to play sort of a castling by hand, but in my opinion, in this chess variant, you should really proceed normally. You should first develop your minor pieces, get control of the center, and Stockfish does it, I think, here in the game, and that's why I think Stockfish understands the position much better than this other engine. That's why really Stockfish is the great tactician, the great tactics calculator, sort of, even in this little bit dubious chess variant, this non-castling chess. So let's check out now the game. It was really an attacking beauty here by Stockfish. So as usual, we have round one and fight. So here Wasp tried the move G3. So as I said, no castling is possible here in the game. D5 played by Stockfish. We have D4, we have E6, and now E3. This move already surprised me, I have to say it like this, because first of all, this move blocks out your dark square bishop, and it creates further light square problems, although you have, of course, your light square bishop still on the board. But I never played this kind of a setup. If you play the fianchetto, then you play something like bishop to g2, and you don't basically played with the move with your e pawn. You're trying to break the position with your c pawn. So as I said, it was a surprise, but the idea here of Wasps is to play bishop to e2, then play king to f1, king to g2, trying to secure the king like this. But that's the difference now between Wasp and Stockfish. Stockfish will play a normal chess, sort of, with the king in the center, but with healthy developing ideas, with simply improving the position of minor pieces, getting the pawn central control, getting the control of the whole center. So that's why I think a Stockfish idea to play normally is better than Wasp's idea to first secure the king. So knight to f6, we have bishop to e2, and now c5. You see king to f1, we have knight to c6. Stockfish builds really a normal setup, and now king to g2. Okay, Wasp has secured the king, but I simply like now Black's position more because after b6, we simply again playing another move in order to develop our light square bishop. And there is now a little bit of a tension here on the light square diagonal. You see now the importance of this bishop on b7 in the continuation of the game. Why is it important to maybe first play towards the center with your minor pieces and not to secure the king like this, like Wasp did? Here after the move b6, we have knight to f3, and now bishop to b7. b3, here Wasp is trying a double fianchetto style, queen to c7 with ideas. You see Stockfish has so far 3 minor pieces out, the queen is out. On the other hand, White has, of course, only 2 minor pieces out, but it has at least maybe a more secured king. But in the game, bishop to b2 was played, rook to d8, very nice move here by Stockfish. If something clears, of course, on the d file, then the queen could be in danger, so that's why here knight to d2 was played first, and now h5. So Stockfish attacks really on the flanks. It's really incredible choice here by Stockfish, because the king is still in the center, the king is not secured. And in the game, queen to c1 was played by Wasp, and this was, I think, not such a great move because first of all, the queen is really on an unnatural square. You don't have good squares, and as I said, this e3 f2 d4 setup, it's simply too blocking, and now the main goal here of blacks is simply to break the position with a potential e5 move. It has to be prepared maybe with bishop to d6, or you could play e5 immediately followed with knight to g4, and then getting control of the e5 square. So in the game, bishop to e7. So you see, Stockfish plays really normal developing moves in the game. Rook to d1, competing now on the d file, and we have now finally this move, this breakthrough e5. So that was all possible because Wasp, I think, didn't challenge black center with the move c4. Black had too much of an expansion here in the center, so that's why this e5 move is a possibility. After d takes e5, of course, knight to g4 happens, and now comes, I think, the crucial mistake by Wasp. Wasp plays here the move a4. I'm not sure about this move because this move has to do something with the queen side. It doesn't have anything to do with the center. The game is basically coordinated in the center, so I'm not sure about this move a4, although I'm criticizing, of course, Ng1, which is much stronger than me. But I'm not sure why Wasp really played the move a4, simply coordinating the game to the queen side. A better idea is simply, I think, to play the move e6. This move is also suggested by Stockfish. At least you bring some kind of an activity of your pieces after f takes e6. Okay, black has its pawn back, but at least you provided some further weaknesses here, at least some light weaknesses in front of the king. Although white's problem here is that you cannot basically kick away this knight from g4 with the move h3, because knight to f6, that would be white's idea to bring the back on knight on f6, but you don't have to retreat with the knight. That's the most important thing. You can play the move d4. So that was Stockfish attacking formation here, attacking idea. If you take, for instance, the knight, then after h takes g4, if you move the knight, you see we have d takes e3, and after f takes e3, we have now rook takes d2. That's the main problem. After rook to queen to d2, we have knight to d4. That's the tactical shot that Stockfish has prepared here, and now you're really in danger. The rook will come here on h2. Your bishop is hanging, so the queen will come into the game. It's really a bad position here for white. So you see how important it was to first develop your minor pieces. So as I said here, even if you take here the pawn on after this e6, f takes e6, h3 is not such a powerful idea. The best way here is probably to retreat with your king to get out of this tactical mess here on the light square. So as I said, a4 was played, so not this e6 idea, which was of course also a good continuation for black. Black is slightly better here, but the move a4 gives now Stockfish immediate opportunities to play the move h4, simply breaking the position. Again, if you try knight to h4, then again you opening simply the light square diagonal, so you saw the tactical problems on the light square. So here e6 now finally played, but it's a little bit too late because f takes e6, now rook to h1, and now h3 played by Stockfish, locking really the rook here on h1. This rook is out of game. This is really pathetic. We'll give that was pathetic here by white. This rook is now out of game through the whole game, although white gave so much effort to castle. Now white hasn't castled. Now it's basically like the king has only moved here towards the g1 square, and now this rook is out of game. It's basically that Stockfish is now playing the game with the whole rook up here. So e5. When I saw that move, I knew that Stockfish will crush this other engine Wasp. When I saw that this Stockfish has built this dominant pawn structure in the center, that this bishop has a really great attacking potential, that this bishop can always come into the game. The queen is also aiming here. We only have to find the best way how to proceed here with the pawns. What's the best way here to create some kind of a pawn breakthrough in the game? Knight to h4 was played. Okay, you could maybe take bishop to h4, but also bishop takes g4 will happen. So that's why here first bishop to c8, protecting the knight on g4. We have queen to d1, and now knight to f6. Still this knight, okay, it retreated, but still this knight has now a great activity. It's again towards the center now, where it controls further the further expansion is centered by the pawn. So knight to g6, another problem. Rook to h6, we have knight to e7, and now queen to e7. Although white has the bishop pair, but I want you for yourself to be judge of white's position now. The rook is out of game. The pawn storm is coming here in the center. You see, this is really shit storm here for white. So as I said, I'm not sure how to proceed here, although you could maybe open somehow the position for the dark square bishop with f4, but even if you do that, you see, then you face really the tactical threats on the e file. The rook will come into the game. It's much easier now for black to activate the pieces. Here, bishop to b5, we have knight to g4, queen to e2, and now e4. This pawn move cements really the whole position. There is now the clear weakness in white position, and as I said, it was the light square problems in the beginning that Wasp played the move e3 and g3. Now the clear target is the weak square here on f3. c4 played by Wasp. We have d takes c4, knight to c4, and now king to f8, getting simply out of the range of the bishop. Now our main goal is somehow to get this knight on f3, where it could really cause some damage. So rook to d1, we have rook takes d1, queen to d1, and again queen to f7, very important move. The checkmate threat is here on f2, so that's why the queen has to cover the f2 square. And again, we have a new passive piece. The queen is a passive piece. The rook is a passive piece. Although this bishop is aiming dangerously here, but it doesn't have really any support. And basically, the best minor piece of whites is maybe here the knight on c4, where it could maybe come on a very active square, but so far without support, these pieces are really bad. So queen to f5, bishop to c3, and now a6 kicking away the bishop. Bishop takes c6, rook to c6, and now queen to e2. Now b5. It's now easy really for black to find the best next move, simply attacking the knight. Knight to d2 was played, and now b4, simply attacking the pieces further, and now rook to d6, king to f1, and now a5, cementing simply our pawn structure. We have a 3 versus 2 situation now. We could also create maybe a pass pawn, but the main tactical shot, I think, is somehow to deflect the queen and get an attack here on f2. In the game, king to e1 was played, and now bishop to a6. We have knight to c4, bishop takes c4, we have b takes c4, and you see, as I said, although the bishop has some kind of an activity, our main clear target is the light square on f3, and you don't have any more a light square bishop. You don't have any more a knight which could be which could protect this weak square. So it's really game over here for black. So king to g8, we have bishop to a1, knight to e5. As I said, cementing, trying really to cement our knight on f3. Even if you take here this bishop, we can simply play queen to e5, and now there is also the tactical threat, a checkmate on a1. So you cannot do anything here. King to f1, really a bad choice. We have knight to f3, queen to c2, and now b3, kicking away the queen. If the queen takes, then you get knight to d2, queen to c3 was played, queen to g4, we have queen to c1. And now, simply this very important battery. I hope you realize this rook, how bad it is through the whole game. We have bishop to d4, rook takes d4, e takes d4, queen to d4, queen to e1. And now, Stockfish doesn't want even to take, queen to c4, first to check, queen to e2, and now queen to c1, queen to d1, and it was finish him here. So after queen takes d1, it was a checkmate. So you see how Stockfish handles this non-castling chess. I think it's a good idea when we start the game to really develop the pieces on the best squares first, get our center, and then maybe escape with the king somehow. Then this other idea to play many tempos with the king, like 3-4 tempos in order to secure the king. I think we should stuck even in this chess variant with our normal ideas of chess. I think Stockfish showed how it's done, and I really enjoyed this game because Stockfish really applied really some great attacking principles here, even without castling. So, okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot, although it's this chess variant that we're basically not playing. If you want to see more brutal Stockfish, Lila C0, Alpha 0 games, check out my commented chess games played by computers. Here's the link. And if you want to study more about chess, check out my Basics in Chess series videos, in which I created more than 160 videos about opening principles, middle game strategies, end game strategies. And if you like this content, you can also subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and chess is the best, of course.